Okay, so welcome back, episode 5.
Welcome back.
Episode
yeah.
5 of Reps France Fish and a Rice Cake, which I think is soon to become
Just fish and a rice cake.
innit?
I was saying to you one the other day, like anytime I go to type it on something on like a post or anything, I forget what way around it is, and I'm like, I should put fish and a rice
It's
cake.
hard work, though. It's
Or
hard
I end
work.
up just putting the podcast.
Yeah, the podcast, the YouTube. Just go
Figure
over,
it out yourself.
go over and do that on the internet, do that internet stuff. But it's just like, and also I'm trying to make it look fancy, so I'm doing like the capital R for
Yeah,
the reps and for the rants. And then I'm like, do I put an and or an ampersand? And I'm like, it's just like fish and a rice cake. Keeps it
We've
simple.
just made life difficult for ourselves, haven't we? Yeah.
But yeah, welcome back. And we've had some good feedback so far, haven't we?
It's been nice. Yeah, it's been really nice actually.
Yeah, I'm
We've
impressed.
had. I think it's done a lot better than we were expecting
Yeah,
so
definitely.
far. Some really nice comments. Like even people that I would never have thought would listen to it, or just haven't spoken to in ages, have been sharing it on the stories and stuff, which is cool.
Yeah. So thank you to everyone who's listened
God
so
knows why
far.
they're listening to it.
Yeah.
It's nothing valuable to listen to, but we'll take it.
And if you're watching, we've changed clothes as well.
We have changed clothes. Yeah.
Yours is the same top in a different colour. Is that?
No, it is a different top.
It
It's
is a
just
different
still
top.
an oversized top.
Yeah, okay.
So I think pretty much everything I have is just oversized. I went through a stage of when I was younger, everything was like medium, so everything was tight, going, and then now everything's just like.
We went through a
Oversized.
phase when we were like 18, 19, 20. A couple of lads who probably listen to this, and one or two lads who are doing the photo shoot next week. And we used to go to All Saints,
Yep.
buy
yeah.
small t-shirts,
Yep.
and put them in the dryer.
And put them in the dryer.
Yeah. So they were like sprayed on, you know. It was like ridiculous.
I never took
ridiculously
it to that
tight.
extreme, but it was tight tops.
Yeah.
And
And it's funny how times have changed because it's very
Yeah.
much oversized is in now, isn't it? And
yeah.
I do like it. I mean, I know this isn't exactly oversized, but it gives you more. It's just more breathing space, isn't it? It's more
Yeah.
relaxed.
It helps when you're in a gaining phase and you've
Yeah,
not seen your
that's
abs
it.
for 12 months.
That's it. Yeah, yeah. Maybe you go back to the medium when you're shredded, mate.
Yeah. I've just noticed as well, I've dropped raspberry all over my shoes and socks this morning on train.
You've had a nightmare.
And I took breakfast with me on the train and it was like...
Have you brought your rice cakes this time? You said.
I actually have, they're in my bag. Yeah, I remembered them this week.
Yeah. So he's got his rice cakes.
Although I won't eat them, it'll be like ASMR or
you're
something.
not
What if
gonna
I'm
eat
eating them
fish,
into
are
the
you?
microphone? No, I haven't got any fish. with
Although
me.
you had fish the other day, you said you didn't like
Tuna.
fish. Yeah.
I don't mind tuna. I don't mind prawns. And like cod and haddock, that's the most boring conversation I think I've ever said in my life. But
That was
I've
fish and rice
literally what it is, isn't it? But yeah, apart from that, anything like proper fish or like salmon, I can't stand.
I'm the same though, and Louise goes mad at me because she fancies fish all the time.
Yeah,
and
so
I'm like,
likes
I
it.
have to be in the mood for it. I really have to be in the
Yeah, yeah.
mood for it. Which rarely happens. If I'm on holiday and we're like seaside resort, I might have like a sea bass fillet or something.
Yeah,
but
sea bass I can stretch
that's
to that.
me. You know, that's me pushing the boat out.
Yeah, that's I tried that for the first time like last year, and I was like, it's borderline. I can get away with sea bass, but anything more than that, and I'm like, nah.
What's the typical bodybuilding fish? It's got a weird name.
I don't know. Not like just like cod or haddock or halibut.
No.
Or I'm just gonna reel off all the
It's
fish I
got-
know.
I think it starts with a T. We'll have to Google that one
T.
and come back to it.
It's not tarpon. Is that?
No,
No.
but you're on the right tracks though. But anyway,
I don't know fish well because I very
Yeah.
rarely have it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna annoy
well,
me
I'll
now.
find out. We'll come back to that because otherwise
Yeah.
we'll just spend up 25 minutes talking about.
Yeah,
fish.
we will. In fact, though, actually, before we get into anything, how was Istanbul? How was
Istanbul
the?
Istanbul was
Jake
good.
went to see the Champions League final, didn't you? For anyone that
I
doesn't know.
did. If anyone follows me on Instagram, I put on about 2,000 stories.
Yeah, you did.
Basically, me eating kebabs, drinking beer, and singing songs.
Just what a coach. is.
Yeah, just what a coach
But it is
should
to
do.
be fair, actually.
Well, you know, weirdly enough, I've had about 2 or 3 people reach out since then,
Have you?
who are City fans. So I'm like, okay, that was great marketing. So no, it was class, mate. It was unreal. It was pure carnage, though.
Mm.
I've travelled quite a lot. We've been to Southeast Asia, been around South America.
Mm.
I've never been to a place like Istanbul. Like
Right.
It's bigger than Greater London. I didn't realise that. It's huge. It's just like high rise after high rise. It's like 14, 15 million people. It doesn't sleep. Like when I say it doesn't sleep, there's like families out having meals, coffees, 3, 4 in the morning. Obviously, I was having lots of beers, which is why I was aware of that, or not aware
Be
of it.
able to make it to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
It was a bit of a shambles. So after the game, UEFA messed up with their like travel stuff because they're fucking hopeless, and we didn't get back into Istanbul till about 3 in the morning.
Mm.
So it was either go to bed after winning the treble or just go back out, and obviously all the City fans just went back out. So I
Yeah.
think on the Saturday night, I think we all got to bed about 7 in the morning. But it was still going. When I left the
Yeah,
party, it was
yeah.
still in full swing as well. It wasn't
Yeah.
like stragglers, it was in like full swing. People still letting flares off down the street and stuff. But it was great, like there was no trouble, nothing. It was just a really good weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recovered.
Just about. Just literally I've just got my voice back. I was doing
I was gonna
check-ins
say
with
when you were on that
clients.
call earlier
Yeah.
this week, you sounded rough.
I was doing check-ins with clients on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I had to keep apologising because my voice just kept going. I was drink my water in between, so yeah, I did a lot of singing. So, but anyway, moving on because otherwise we're going to be talking forever. So
What are we talking about today?
today,
Photo shoot mentality. It's on,
Photo
we've got it on the
shoot.
laptop here.
photo shoot.
Yeah, we
mentality.
won't remember if it wasn't on there. So yeah, the photo shoot mentality. Basically, what does it take to go through a photo shoot process, right? Because we're in a position where we've got our group photo shoot next weekend, haven't we?
Yeah, week
So we've-
tomorrow.
Yeah, so we've got a few clients who have been dieting for that. They're going to be doing the photo shoot next weekend. We've done them ourselves in the past, and like it is different, obviously, to a normal diet. Like it's like that next sort of step up in it.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this because when we decided on topics, and what I was going to say, the first thing is it harder? And I've got a bit of a caveat to that. I don't know if it is. I think it is and it isn't. It's a different level of hard, you know, and there's different sacrifices to be made with a photo shoot diet. But what do you think?
I think it. I mean, I think it is from the point of view of certainly the last. I've always found it's fine until the last 4 weeks. The last 4 weeks are when it really starts to drag, and that's when you are really lean, energy's low, hunger's high, and you sort of get to the point where you're like, I just want this to be over now. I think if you're someone who really struggles to say no to social occasions or plan ahead with food or anything like that, or be quite consistent and repetitive with the meals that you're having day to day, then it is definitely harder.
Yeah.
Like you have to be more strict and more concise than just a general diet for fat loss. You can't be as flexible with things. But like you said, I think on the flip side, what you get back from that is you do feel a lot more routines, you do feel a lot more structured, you do feel a lot more productive. Your energy tends to be a bit better because you're generally eating better for the majority of the time.
This is exactly what I was going to say.
And
So
it carries over, doesn't it?
it does, and that's exactly what I was going to say. And I think me and you are perfect examples of that right now. So you're very much dialed in, knowing that you're doing a photo shoot. And I think there is that thing when you know you're doing a photo shoot, you get yourself dialed in, that because it's
Yeah.
a commitment, so you have
Yeah.
to get dialed in. So you kind of go, right, well, I've accepted the sacrifice from the moment that you've accepted the sacrifice from the moment you've signed up to a photo shoot. So you know that you're gonna have to sacrifice social events. You know you're gonna have to be more on the ball and general day-to-day life. You know you're gonna have to plan your meals. You know that you're gonna be eating the same kind of foods. You know you're gonna be doing extra cardio. You know all of that stuff. Whereas with a more flexible approach, obviously you can potentially include a lot more, as I am at the moment. I had a weekend away, etc., etc. You can do that stuff. Does it make it easier? I don't know, because trying to get back to things, especially when you've had socials and stuff, is quite difficult in itself, and that's a different conversation. But I do think that the photo shoot thing, you just go into the zone. You go in the zone. Once you're in the zone, you can stay in the zone.
Yeah, definitely. I think as an example, like if we had a client who was just dieting for general fat loss and there was no set timeline or anything like that, and they were like, "Oh, I've got a social coming up at the weekend. It's like my mate's birthday or whatever." It's very easy to be like, "All right, cool. Well, let's plan ahead for that. We'll give you certain calories to follow leading up to that event. We'll then give you a plan for the day. Maybe we'll drop your calories on the day before you go. Then we'll give you a buffer for whilst you're there. Or we might even say, don't worry about tracking. Just make these sort of sensible choices whilst you're
Just
there.
be conscious.
It'll be cool." When it's with a photo shoot, it's a different conversation. It's literally like, okay, well, that's fine, you can go, but if we're serious about this, you're not going to be able to drink, you're not going to be able to eat out. We'll make sure we'll still plan ahead, and we'll be like, right, eat this before you go, maybe even take this with you. These are your drink options when you're there, which would probably be a Diet Coke or a like lime and soda water, whatever it is.
Basically.
Yeah, something like that. And then make sure you've got this prepped for when you get back, so that you've got something to eat straight away and you know that something's coming. So there is a higher level of sacrifice
100%.
on that part.
And I think, like you say, especially towards the back end of things, that stuff gets more difficult because
Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy, but even things like food smells better. It's like I live
does.
opposite at Domino's.
Yeah.
And I remember I was doing my photo shoot day. I had to walk past that Domino's every single day. I don't even like Domino's. Like a normal
It becomes
circumstances,
more appealing.
fucking hell.
Yeah.
It smelled like the best thing in the world. I was just like, I had to take a longer route just to go
Yeah, yeah.
away from it.
It does. It's weird. Like stuff does taste better when you're in that sort of diet because you're not having it as frequently. So you do sort of appreciate it and enjoy it a little bit more. Like before I started this, when I was in that gaining phase of like nearly 5,000 calories a day, I was literally just ordering a Five Guys on the evening just to get my calories in. Like otherwise, I wouldn't hit my target, sort of thing. Not every day, but like maybe once a week or something if I'd fallen behind. And it's just as what is you get used to it and it's fine. And then now, obviously, I've not had one since I've started, but sometimes I'll get like. Do you have pho in Manchester? Like the Vietnamese?
Like pho bowls.
Yeah. So I get a pho bowl just because it's like high protein, low calories, which is essentially chicken, prawn, and noodles. It's nothing special, but it tastes so good. And you're literally like, it's the highlight of the week.
And you appreciate the food a lot more.
So much more.
So yeah, there's a lot, like you said, I think mental sacrifice is very different when you're just doing a flexible approach and doing a photo shoot. Physically as well towards the back end. I mean, I think people expect the physical elements to kick in sooner on a photo shoot day. It doesn't, generally speaking. I think when you get below a certain percentage of body fat, maybe 13, 12, once you start getting dipping below that, maybe energy levels start to drop and there might be other things that start to happen.
Yeah.
But it's, for the majority of people, that's going to happen last couple of weeks, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah. And obviously you get the kickback from it nowadays where a lot of people say it's, it's dangerous, it's obsessive, it's not healthy for you. And look, like, it isn't healthy to do if you were to try and maintain it. It isn't healthy. All right, it isn't healthy to do full stop, really, to get to that degree of body fat if you're going to try and get absolutely, like, peeled. Lean. It's not a healthy thing to do. But...
You don't feel your best, do you?
No.
Towards the back end.
Yeah. But as long as it's done right, as long as it's done, you're doing, whether you do it with yourself or you've got a coach and it's been done with a smart approach and it's all planned out and you know what you're going to be doing, like, short-term obsessive behavior to get that goal is fine if you then know how to get back to normal safely afterwards.
100%. You have to have an exit plan. And
yeah.
That's what we've probably been talking to our clients more about in the last 4 weeks than the actual photo shoot.
Yeah, it's literally just been like, this is how we're going to get you back to normal afterwards.
Because the dieting's done, the fat, for the majority of them, the fat loss part is essentially done. So now it's like, okay, well, how are we going to come away from this sensibly?
Yeah.
What's the plan going to be? It's going to be, we're going to raise calories, we're going to focus on training performance, we're going to try and remove, any of those kind of hunger pangs that you've potentially got and really just try and get you back into a routine straight away. And it is, that is a risky time, because I've bounced back before. Like I bounced back quite badly a few years ago, like 10 kilograms in the space of like a couple
it's easily
of months.
Doable.
And that's because I didn't have a coach at the time, I wasn't being coached. And even though I knew what I should be doing, and I was fully aware that I was bouncing, I was like, once you've got a coach and you've got that real plan, real structure, you can do it properly. And it's so worth it. Like when you get, again, I know we've said this on previous podcasts, but when you look at the pictures, you're like, fuck me. Like, what an achievement.
And that's... Make sure I'm sat in front of the mic. But that's the position that, like, our clients that are doing the shoot next week are in now. Like, I don't know about you, but getting literally daily messages like, I can't believe I've managed to do this. Like, I can't believe how I'm looking. I never thought I'd look like this. It's amazing. It's incredible.
Just sending like selfies in the mirror, just like...
Yeah, literally. Like, and that's what you get out of it. And it is, obviously it is obsessive, but it's no different to if you wanted a promotion at work and you literally said, right, for the next 3 months, I'm just going to work my ass off. I'm going to work every hour that they can send me. I'm going to do more than I need to do. It's going to be my priority. All right, yeah, it's not healthy to do long term if you try to keep that up for 1 year, 2 years, however long. But in short bursts, if you want to get somewhere, or if you've got something that you really want to achieve, like that's just what you have to do sometimes.
It's not supposed to be sustainable.
No, it's not.
And I think that's where the bad rep comes from. Because people are, it's almost like we get people down to that body fat percentage, and those are, like you say, those kind of structured eating patterns and things, and other people or other coaches are then thinking that we keep them there, and it's like, no, of course we don't. The flexibility comes back. Of course it does.
Yeah.
And the idea is, we eventually get someone to a place where they've achieved that. They understand that realistically they're not going to stay there. Realistically, but you're never going to be far from it. Like we bring you back up to a point where you may be 6 to 8 weeks away from wanting to be back in that condition. But that point, you're enjoying your training more. You're pushing heavier weights, you're focusing on performance, you're eating different foods, you've got more flexibility, you've got your socials back.
Yeah.
But you're still in fantastic shape. It's just not that.
That's it. And it's like, a point I make to people sometimes is like when I'm chatting to clients about potentially doing it. Say they're like, "Oh, I just want to lose 10 kilos from where they started," and it's like, okay, we can either do that and we can work really hard and we can look at losing 10 kilos and that 10 kilo becomes the end point. That's your new baseline. That's what we want to look to maintain. And then we'd probably around that point. So say someone started at 80 kilos and like, I want to be 70 kilos. And it's like, okay, cool. You get them to 70 kilos. Then maintenance is going to be anywhere from sort of 70 to 72 kilos generally.
Like 68 to 72.
Yeah, it's going to be a
good,
range within that. And I sort of say to them, well, what if they're capable of doing it, we took it further? What if we got you to 60 kilos for a photo shoot? Now, we're not going to keep you at 60 kilos, but going past that baseline that you wanted before, it makes sticking to a new baseline so much easier. Like it helps you realize just how much you are capable of maintaining when you go past that point that you thought before. Because like if you are going in with the initial goal of I just want to lose 10 kilos, that's like this big goal, and it's like it seems like a big mountain to climb. Whereas if you suddenly say, "No, I'm going to lose 20 kilos," well, 10 kilos doesn't actually seem that difficult to do now because you're like, it's only halfway.
Yeah.
And it can help sometimes just to establish a much lower baseline of where you can maintain, which again, if you were going to a photo shoot at 60 kilos, you're probably going to be looking to maintain at least 65, if not towards high 60s.
Yeah.
But it's still going to be much easier to maintain than that initial 70 kilo, because most people would work their ass off to get to 70 kilos and then potentially over time slowly get back to 80.
And that's it. And you're always going to put, after you've done something like this, it's inevitable that you're going to put weight back on. And again, it just has
you should do. Like, you need to.
You need to. You've got no glycogen, no food.
Have you had messages from clients saying how cold they are at the minute all the time?
Cold.
It's horrible, innit?
Yeah.
It's horrible.
In fact, to be fair, maybe not in the last week because it's absolutely fucking roasting.
Well, yeah, to be fair.
But generally speaking, and I remember that myself. That was one of the weirdest feelings.
Constantly cold.
The second photo shoot that I did, I got particularly lean, and like I say, apart from the food, like that was the biggest thing for me. Just that smell of food was ridiculous. But just being randomly cold, and it was really odd.
Yeah, and I think like taking it back to sort of the difference between a photo shoot style diet and a normal diet, like it's more just the routine and the planning ahead and the repetitive nature of it. And it's like with a normal diet, you kind of be like, well, this is my protein, this is my calories. Like I can just track through the day, and as long as I hit them, I'm pretty much good.
And that's it, and that's what I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah.
And for example, this morning we've met up for a coffee before here.
Yeah.
And I've had a croissant.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Whereas I've had me.
It's not ideal.
Overnight oats on the train.
Exactly, and it's not optimal for me right now, but I can fit it in. I can get it in there. It's not a problem. Like the rest of the day will be absolutely fine.
Yeah. Whereas you take that to a photo shoot sort of style prep, and it is a bit more like, right, you need to know pretty much what you're having day to day, and for the majority of the time it's probably going to be the same
foods, and that makes it easier.
It makes it a hell of a lot easier. It makes it easier to shop because you're not wandering around the supermarket seeing all the different things on the shelves that are tempting you. You can just go in, head down with a list of what you need and get the same stuff, or you do it online, and it makes it even easier.
And to be fair, I would say that most people flexible dieting should still do this at least Monday to Friday, maybe allow a degree of flexibility at the weekend. It's still sticking to goals, obviously, but you can have a photo bowl, you can go out and have a meal out, and you can make it fit. But generally speaking, I still think even with a flexible approach, you can go too flexible. And one of the places that a lot of people go wrong is not having a plan daily.
Yeah.
And when you're making those decisions for your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, your snacks, whatever it might be, every single day, and you're doing it ad hoc, on the move, that's when decision fatigue comes in. That's when you think, fucking hell, this is hard. Yeah. So you should still always have a plan.
Yeah, especially like you say, as you get leaner and leaner, having that pre-planned out so that this decision fatigue doesn't build up is massive. Because it sounds stupid because it's like, oh, you're only deciding what to eat. How does that take it away from you? But when you are to the point where you've been dieting for ages, you are quite lean, you're tired anyway. Like little things like that are enough sometimes to knock people off and just be like, I can't be asked making a decision. Like fuck it, I'll just go and eat whatever.
Well, that's it.
Whereas if you can just have literally everything planned out so that you can get up in the morning, you know what you're eating, your food's all sorted, you even know what you're wearing for the day, that's all sorted, and you can just get up and go through the motions and get stuff done.
Most people have got a million other things to think about daily. Work, kids, dog, family, whatever it might be, and it's just constant. So having to think about all your nutrition decisions on top of that and your training decisions on top of that, it gets overwhelming.
Yeah, it massively does. So I think it's just that step up and it's meant to be challenging it. It's not like look, this is what everyone should be doing. This is what everyone should aspire to be like. It's not. It's a challenge. Like it's a short-term challenge of can you be this regimented? Can you be this routine? And can you be this dedicated for however long it's going to take to get into that condition? And then afterwards we'll get you back to normal.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we've mentioned this before, but none of our clients came to us thinking about doing it. Maybe one or two come in. knowing they
Very,
do a shoot.
very rarely someone
Yeah.
will come being like, I want to do a shoot. 9 times out of 10. So like Ryan, who's one of my longest clients, I think I've mentioned him before, who has now done 2 shoots with me and is now prepping for a show. He worked with me for 18 months before we even had a conversation about a photo shoot. When we first started, and he says it himself, like the thought of doing something like that was it was a pipe dream for him. He wouldn't even wear vests to the gym. Like he was really self-conscious, and he's always been in good shape, but that's obviously just like a personal thing. But it's not something that most people come in with that thought of. It is that process of, okay, well, let's just focus on this small goal for now. Do that. Confidence builds a little bit. Do the next one. Confidence builds a bit more. And then after a while, you do get to that point where they more often than not, they'll come to us and be like, do you know what? I think I might be able to do something like that.
I think
I
it's
wanna
when they
give
see
it a go.
other people do it,
Yeah.
and maybe people from starting positions similar to themselves, and they're like, well, if they did it, like, I can do it. And as you say, once coming to coaching, they lose that first 10% body weight, whatever it might be, and the confidence is building. They're like, shit, I can do this, and it is then a challenge, and it's like, okay, well, let's take it up a level, let's go for it. You'll be unbelievably proud afterwards, and like I say, as we said, as long as you've got a plan, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Photo shoot diet, in short, is going to be more structured, more dialed in, more routine.
Yeah.
You're gonna get better results, of course, off the back of that. A lot of it crosses over, but with a more flexible approach. If you're someone who's doing that, it's potentially going to take a bit longer, but you're going to have more freedom. So there's no right or wrong here, I think, is what I'm trying to say. It's what suits you at that moment in time.
Yeah, it's literally that. It's just, if you're up for the challenge,
you
want to give it a go for it, but you've got to go in with the mindset of taking it seriously and being prepared to actually
100%.
put the work in, because the last thing you ever want to do is show up on the day knowing that you've not done everything you could have done and not being 100% happy with how you're looking, especially when it's in a group setting and you're seeing other people that have like knocked it out of the park and they're absolutely over the moon with it.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll have seen that happen, and it's not a nice position to be in.
No, not at all. And you might never do it again. So you might as well put everything into it. And like, I know even for me, like, I look back at my photo shoot pictures now, and I get kind of weird feelings about it, but I look back and I'm like, fucking hell, like, that was mint, and you don't think afterwards, you don't think about like the hard times so much. You just look at the end product and like, you're really proud of it.
Yeah. Well, it goes like a flash, doesn't it? And
it does.
Anything that you feel like you're missing out on when you're doing a diet, meals out with friends, birthdays, like, it all comes round again. Like, it doesn't go anywhere.
I say this to people all the time. I'm like, listen, the beer garden will be there in 6 months' time when you've got abs and you look fantastic, and more importantly, you feel fantastic.
Yeah.
It's going nowhere, Obviously, if there's certain events, weddings, partner's birthday, of course you're going to enjoy those. But I'm talking about the standard, like, Friday night trips to the pub, the Friday night takeaway that you always have. Like, that stuff is going nowhere. It's going to be there all the time,
Yeah.
But anyway.
We should mention that we are going to try and do a bit of a giveaway, aren't we?
Yes.
So we're going to... Yeah, so what we're going to do is a little bit of a giveaway. We should have probably said this at the start. Maybe I'll edit it and chip it into the start. Who knows? Or if I can't be asked, I won't. If you've made it this far, well done. So what we're going to do is every single month we're going to do a bit of a giveaway. One winner we're going to do, I don't think we've decided, but maybe like a tub of protein or something like that. We'll think of something, or like a 40, 50 quid Amazon voucher or something.
Yeah.
All you literally need to do is share this video or this podcast, if you're listening on Spotify, to your social channels, tag us in it, make sure you're following us, and every time you do it, we'll enter you into it, and at the end of the month, we'll do like a random draw, and we'll announce one winner.
Yeah, there's these little generators online. We'll put everyone's name in.
Yeah.
And we'll pick a name.
So if you want a free tub of protein or something like that, or an Amazon voucher, whatever we end up
we'll figure it out. It'll probably be something training related.
Yeah, we've mapped this out, you can tell. Yeah. We've really thought about this.
Dead professional.
Yeah. But if you want it, do that. And apart from that,
like and subscribe to the page. We need to start tell people to do that as well.
All that
do
YouTube
all
stuff.
that kind of stuff.
All that Spotify, YouTube stuff. Leave a comment, review.
Yeah.
There's loads, isn't there?
Yeah.
just do one. Just do one of them. You don't need to do it all. Just do one of them.
Do it all. Do it all.
And if you found that video useful, then go ahead and click on this one right here for some more answers to your fitness problems.